After using Clay for over a year and a half, I am done. I used to be a huge Clay believer, but lately there's been some changes and a new tool on the market that have me thinking that Clay is not the best tool for recruiters anymore. While Clay can be a super powerful tool for GTM and sales teams, if we're talking about recruiters specifically here, I think recent changes to the cost structure as well as just the inherent complexity of the product have me thinking that it is no longer the go-to choice. I'll start with the complexity piece and then work my way into the pricing. And to talk about the complexity, I think it's easiest to visualize if I share my screen here and pull up my own Clay account. So here we are inside my own Clay account, inside a workbook that I had created to search for open roles and hiring managers for those open roles, specifically within the sales space. And so I know it looks like a lot because it is a lot. There are, if you can see here, I have thousands of rows, but more importantly, over 40 columns that I needed to create to get the exact information that I wanted. And so to quickly walk you through what is going on here, firstly, I have Clay pulling the jobs from LinkedIn, and it gave me some information. It gave me the link to the company's LinkedIn profile. It would also pull the recruiter on the profile of the person who had posted the job on LinkedIn. If it had access to it, it will tell you when the job was posted and the name of the open role and the company name, but that's really it. A big thing I ran into is, okay, great, yeah, it pulls me all these open roles, but I don't know if these companies are really companies that I want to reach out to, right? Maybe they're too big, maybe they're not in the right industry. So what I was forced to do is I had to enrich each company to figure out what industry is it in and what is the employee size, right? I don't want to reach out to a company that's super, super big where it's going to be a really long sales process to get them as a recruiting client. For myself, I like to ideally limit it to about 500 or fewer employees. So I had to spend Clay credits. I had to spend money to just even figure out if these companies were good to reach out to in the first place. And then I also had to pull out the industry name, right? What if the industry was staffing or recruiting? As a recruiter myself, I don't want to reach out to those companies. And so I was spending money by spending these credits just to DQ a lot of companies because of information that Clay didn't give me initially when it pulled the information. So just off the bat, I had to create a lot of enrichments to be able to filter down to see which companies actually meet the criteria that I want. And then from there, I had to clean up some of the data. The reason being is the data that Clay pulls from LinkedIn, it shows exactly what's on LinkedIn, right? It shows you, let's say for this specific role, the job posting on LinkedIn says account executive, healthcare division, hybrid, Nashville, Tennessee. Now I need to clean that information, right? Because if I don't, then I don't want to email someone saying, hey, I see you're hiring for an account executive, healthcare division, Nashville, Tennessee, hybrid. No one says that. No human talks like that, right? What I would want to say is, hey, I see you're hiring for an account executive in Nashville. And then I had to connect ChatGPT to my Clay account to be able to read the job title, clean it up, and get it into a format that would make sense. And then once I found these people, I had to spend more money, spend more credits to be able to figure out what is their email, what is their contact information. And so then I had to build out these waterfalls that would go through and find the emails for these people that I want to reach out to. And if I'm being honest, it took many hours over many days, even many weeks to really get a Clay table that worked just like I wanted it to. As you can see right here, this is my fifth version of this Clay table because I always had to make so many tweaks to it to really get the exact data and information that I want. And on top of that, so many of these Clay processes that I had to build into it are dependent on one another. And so it's like a chain. All these chains are made up of little links. If one link in the chain breaks, then everything down chain from it is broken as well. And so I'd often run into a situation where maybe one of their data providers would have an outage, or they would release a new Clay update that would put one of my connections out of whack. And then my entire business development, all my Clay tables would literally just pause right then and there. And so then I had to chat with the support team, figure out what was going on to be able to resolve the issue and get the chain connected again. And this inherent complexity with Clay is a huge reason that we decided to build Flynt ourselves and to create a tool that was just as simple as possible. So instead of worrying about thousands of rows and over 40 columns and all these different complex integrations, what Flynt does once you have it set up is it provides you a list of targeted leads with the hiring manager, with their contact information every single day on autopilot. And this is what that looks like. Here is a list of leads that Flynt pulled me from one of my agents. And as you can see, it has all the information that you need and none of the information that you don't need. So we have the job opening, we have a link to the page on LinkedIn if you want to look it up. Then we also have the company name, the size of the company, the location of the hiring manager, their contact information, their title. I get everything we need to be effective recruiters all in one spot, runs automatically for me every single day. So when I log in the morning, boom, all of my leads are there ready for me to execute upon. So there's no complexity. It's really a set it and forget it situation. Once you tell your Flynt agents what you're looking for, then every single day you'll get leads leads ready to go with everything that you need. You don't have to worry about anything breaking or setting up any specific filters. Once you have it done once, you are good to go for the future. I also wanted to talk about pricing and why Clay is steering me away from a pricing perspective as well. They recently updated their pricing model, so they now have two different types of credits. They have a data credit and then an action credit. And so as you can see here on the Clay pricing page, all of the different plans offer you a different amount of data credits and a different amount of action credits every single month. And having been a Clay user for many months now, this is now pushing me to look into all of my Clay tables again to figure out what changes do I need to make in order to adjust my tables to this new Clay pricing plan. I believe they also increased the cost of the lowest paid tier for their platform. So as you can see, for the monthly plans, that now starts at $185 a month, which can be quite pricey. On the flip side, Flynt starts at $149 a month, so already $36 cheaper, but it is also just more clear on what you're paying for and what results you're getting out of it. When you register for Flynt, you get this many agents. You get about this many leads per day. You don't have to worry about, oh, I need to reach out to support because something broke or it's so complex. I got to spend months getting it set up. None of that. All you need to do is set it up once and you are good to go. So for these reasons, including the recent cost changes with Clay, but also just the really big complexity and headaches that can come with building out a Clay table that really is impactful for you, has me now feeling that Clay is no longer the go-to tool for business development for recruiters. That is why we built Flynt, to be simple to use, to be cost effective, and at the end of the day, to get you the most output with the least amount of input. All you need to do is create an account, set up your agents once, and then every single day after that, you will get high quality targeted leads sent to your inbox that are exactly what you're looking for. I hope this video was helpful, and if you have any questions, thoughts, or anything to add to what we spoke about in this video, feel free to leave a comment below. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video.